Hello and welcome to Favorite Rugby on Favorite Sports for an update on Ethan de Groot, who has officially been sanctioned following that red card that he did receive against Namibia on Friday night for a high tackle. It was a yellow card that was then upgraded to a red card, and as such, he received a sanction and had his hearing earlier last night. And with the sanction being confirmed. Now, we pointed about the sanction and a little bit more about where the confusion comes and to where the sort of the growing talk about the amount of red cards in the tournament, whether it's a good or bad thing, or I suppose it's never really a good thing. But in terms of is it worth what the cause and what the plan is from World Rugby to achieve all the red cards? Please do subscribe to the channel. Please do smash like on the video as well. We're into week 3 of the Rugby World Cup, and the big news is that after a bit of a very hectic weekend, we are officially going to start putting out our tour diaries. The Favorite Sports Backstage Tour diaries will begin from today, so really looking forward to getting those out to you guys and seeing exactly what we're getting up to over here in France. Let's talk about Ethan de Groot, shall we? Right, so he was sanctioned for a tackle he made on Friday night against Namibia. He was given a yellow card, and it was then upgraded to a red card. And he has officially been sanctioned. He appeared in front of a disciplinary committee yesterday, and it was chaired by Brenda Hedalatu from Samoa and joined by former players John Lanford from Australia and Jamie Corsi from Wales. This is from the disciplinary committee decision. It says he attended the disciplinary committee hearing for an offence contrary to law 9.16, which says a player must not charge an opponent without grasping the player. As a result of a review by the foul play review official in New Zealand's Rugby World Cup, match, blah, blah, blah. The player was suspended for 2 matches, subject to the completion of the coaching intervention program, tackle school, as it is more commonly known. So he got a red card as a result of the foul play review official, so in the TMO bunker. And in terms of how the actual hearing went, the player admitted that he had committed an act of foul play, but maintained that the red card threshold had not been met, and therefore challenged the foul play review official's decision that the tackle was always illegal. That for me is quite an important thing, because when we talk about sanction stuff like that, it never seems to be a bit of an impact, you know, when in regards to whether they're actually challenging or not challenging. And that usually be quite a big thing. You know, if you admitted your guilt and you said, yes, I understand it was a red card, I understand I made a mistake, this is how it happened, it won't happen again, they kind of give you a bit of a slap on the wrist, and they kind of reduce your sanction and off you go. But in this circumstance, he did not agree that a red card had been met. He said, no, it wasn't a red card. He said that it was foul play, but it wasn't a red card. And then this is what the independent committee decided after the submissions from the player, the representative, and all the available camera angles and technology. This is the summary of what they decided. An act of foul play had occurred, so first tick. The player had an opportunity to put himself in a position to complete a legal tackle. So therefore, the whole idea of it, you know, not being a red card or not being a threshold is sort of crossed. The player was in a dynamic tackling position and, as admitted by the player, was not sufficiently bent at the waist. Right, so he's upright. So, you know, a tackle that's, he's saying that he wasn't bent over, but he's also saying that it was not always legal. You know, the head contact had occurred and the degree of danger was high. So now we're talking about a high degree of danger. The player could have been lower, and he didn't. He had the opportunity to put himself in a low position and didn't, for example. And that the decision by the foul play review official that the tackle was always legal was correct because of the lack of an attempt to wrap, and therefore mitigation could not be applied in this instance to bring the sanction down from a red card. So we've now said, right, so he could have gotten to a better position. It was a high degree of danger. It was direct head contact. That there was no attempt to wrap, and it was always illegal. So pretty much ticking every possible box it could tick. On the basis and considering the sanction applied, this committee applied the World Rugby's mandatory minimum mid-range century point for foul play resulting in head contact, which is 6 matches. 6 matches. Taking all considerations into account, including acceptance of an element of foul play, but a challenge against the result, by the way. An excellent disciplinary record just means they've had a red card before in international rugby. The independent committee determined a maximum mitigation of 50%, resulting in a final sanction of 3 matches to be applied as follows: New Zealand versus Italy, 29th September, New Zealand versus Uruguay, 5th of October, The player will be free to play at the quarterfinal, assuming New Zealand qualify, subject to successful completion of the coaching intervention program. Which, to be perfectly honest, is a joke, really. You know, these players get red cards for tackle. They go to tackle school, in inverted commas. They go and do a 2-hour seminar or whatever it is, and they're free to play. This is one of those things where, if this had not been a World Cup, you wonder if the sanction would be like this. You know, the fact of the matter is, there's no ways that the idea of the fact that he had Currie missing out of quarterfinal is not weighed in this decision, because you look at the tackle. It was a horrible tackle. It was always a red card. If you look at me, always a red card. You go through the submission, and this is just purely on the evidence. Not even just about what I think of how long I think you should be banned for example. You just go through the submission, and it ticked every single box for foul play. It ticked every single box of what we're trying to get away from. Head contact, high degree of danger. He could have gone lower. He could have been in a better position. It was always illegal. It is the exact tackle that we are trying to get rid of. And yet, a midweek sanction, which is 6 weeks, by the way, has been reduced to effectively 2. It's not only been halved, it's been cut into a third. So, for me, it makes a bit of a mockery of the entire system, because it's just, you know, it's just the standard thing now. Every single time there's a red card for head contact during the World Cup, it's a 2-game ban, so it doesn't really impact the World Cup. We throw around tackle school because, you know, that's an easy way to reduce one more match. We apply the mitigation, you know, I mean, for what reason? What reason? For a good disciplinary record. So therefore, we can just slash the sanction in half because he hadn't had a red card before. I still don't understand. I just don't understand the application of what we've got. We've got a whole process. There's a whole different tick boxes where you kind of explain why there are certain sanctions. You get a sanction like this, and I sit there going, I don't understand why it's so low. And I'm not saying I want him to be banned for a long time. I'm not saying we need to have bans for a long time, but we just need to. If this is exactly what World Rugby want to prevent, you cannot keep then finding any excuse to bring it down to the smallest ban as possible in order to make sure that New Zealand don't have their star loose head prop come the quarterfinal. So it's a bit frustrating, but yeah, maybe you guys didn't think it was a red card at all. I definitely think it was. I think it was a pretty poor tackle. I think, as I said, I think it's exactly the type of tackle we're trying to move away from. It wasn't just a case of he got his timing right. He was not in a good position. There was head contact. There was a high degree of danger, and it was a very dangerous tackle. So I personally think that if it's a midweek sanction of 6 weeks, you should be bringing it down to 4, based on good discipline or whatever. And then, yeah, if you're going to have this tackle school, then you can reduce by 1 and make it 3 matches. Because that's that. I mean, all of a sudden, a quarterfinal, for example, wouldn't be there. And that's where a sanction means something. 2 matches is nothing. It really is nothing. Unless you're getting a red card in the quarterfinal. I mean, you could get a red card in the last group stage for a high tackle, head on shoulder, or shoulder on head contact, high degree of danger, and apparently you can still be able to play the final, for example. Is that harsh enough? What do we think? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon.